Back at camp, the challenge was complete. They received a reward, a fire starter kit. Fire meant safety, warmth, and hope. That night, as flames flickered, the strangers became a tribe. The GA5 ordinary humans, Trey, Renata, Jamil, Kira, and Nell, are suddenly taken from their everyday lives and forced into an alien survival game. They find themselves on a strange, dangerous planet where their captors expect them to fail. But humans are different. Armed with their history, creativity, and will to survive, they must learn to work together, use simple tools, and face deadly challenges that test not only their strength but their spirit. The stakes are high: win or face elimination, death. This story shows how humans, despite being underestimated, rely on cooperation, knowledge, and courage to fight back against impossible odds. Trey Holden's red pen hovered over a student's essay about Spartans inventing democracy. He sighed, circling the paragraph. Teaching history felt like bailing water with a spoon. The flickering of his desk lamp caught his eye. The light dimmed, then flashed bright. His fingers reached to unplug the computer, but suddenly the world disappeared. Renata Vasquez had just won a big legal case. Her opponent's expert witness admitted a key method had never been peer-reviewed. It was a victory she felt days before the jury's verdict. Her assistant told her the 5 p.m. meeting was cancelled. Renata smiled, ready to leave early. Then everything went dark. Jamil Washington paced his small apartment. He was thinking about a new warehouse job offer. 22 hours a week at $15 an hour was not enough after losing his plant job. Suddenly the lights pulsed and died. A strange feeling gripped him, like being pulled through thick honey. Then nothing. Kira Ning smiled at her phone camera, posing with adventure gear. She was filming a survival challenge, 24 hours in the wilderness with the basics. But the wilderness was just a local park. Her assistant stood off camera, ready for anything. Suddenly her phone screen went black. So did everything else. Eleanor Nell Carver knelt in her garden, gently transplanting tomato seedlings. After 40 years in emergency medicine, she found peace in quiet work. A shadow crossed her garden, but the sky was clear. She looked up, confused. Trey woke with a pounding headache. His eyes opened to a strange ceiling, gray and smooth, no corners. The room smelled sterile and cool. He was lying on a firm surface, wearing his wrinkled work clothes. His watch, phone, and keys were gone. He tried his voice. "Hello? Is anyone there?" No answer. The walls seemed to glow with light but showed no door or window. Trey's mind raced. Had he been kidnapped? By whom? What? Suddenly, part of the wall vanished, revealing a corridor. He stepped through cautiously. Ahead, he saw others in similar cells. A woman paced angrily, shouting at the walls. A man rubbed his hands raw on the stone. A young woman looked scared and confused. An older woman sat quietly, calm. One by one, they entered a larger room and introduced themselves. Trey learned their names: Renata, Jamil, Kira, and Nell, and their stories. Each had been taken without warning, ripped from their lives and thrown into this strange place. Then the walls melted away again. Tall alien creatures entered. They stood over 7 feet tall, with many arms ending in suction pads. Their skin shimmered like oil on water. One spoke, its voice flat and mechanical. "Welcome, humans. You have been chosen for the 17th season of Primal, the galaxy's most popular entertainment program. You will be tested on your natural abilities to survive. Those who succeed will earn rewards and fame. Those who fail will be eliminated." The humans stared, stunned. "You kidnapped us for a TV show?" Trey asked, disbelief mixing with fear. "Yes. Many species petition for this honor," the alien said. "Your species' progress is surprising. We want to see how you perform when stripped to your most basic selves." Renata's voice trembled. "This is kidnapping. False imprisonment. You have no right." The alien's skin flashed dark purple. "Our laws apply here, not yours." The aliens led them through medical checks and took everything from them except their clothes. Then each human was placed in a transparent pod. The pods launched into space, speeding toward a distant planet called Maul. Inside the pods, screens showed scenes from previous seasons. Other species fighting dangerous beasts, many dying. The humans watched, horror growing. When Trey's pod crashed onto the alien planet, he stepped out into a strange forest. The plants looked like Earth's, but twisted and alien. The sky was lavender, and the sun hung yellow and low. On his wrist, a metal band appeared. He touched it. A map lit up with a red dot marking a meeting point 20 miles away. Text scrolled, "Challenge 1. Reach the meeting point in 48 hours. Failure means elimination." Trey thought of history, the stories of human survival against wild odds. Aboriginal trackers, Arctic explorers, ocean navigators. He set off, scanning the alien forest for food, water, or shelter. Renata's pod landed in rocky cliffs. She brushed dust from her ruined suit, scowling. Her wristband showed the same instructions. She began gathering sharp rocks, thinking of tools she could fashion. Her mind, trained in law, shifted to survival. She wouldn't give up. Jamil landed in a swampy marsh. His hands bled from pounding the walls of his cell. But he was a factory worker used to fixing machines. He studied the plants, pulling stiff stalks and sharp stones. By nightfall he had made a crude digging tool and a shelter. Kira screamed when her pod landed on a flat grassland. Her perfect hair tangled, nails broken. She looked around, terrified. No cameras, no assistant. Just her in the wild. She remembered a survival show tip: follow water downhill. She headed toward the valley shown on her map. Nell landed gently in a clearing surrounded by bulbous tree-like plants. She moved carefully, knowing exhaustion and exposure killed. Within hours she found drinkable plants and built a lean-to shelter. As the strange purple rain fell, she closed her eyes and breathed deep. One problem at a time. Day 2 brought new dangers. Renata heard something growling nearby. A massive six-legged beast with sharp teeth and muscles appeared, hunting her. She froze, then ran toward thorny plants that stung the creature's nose. It sneezed violently and left. She realized humans had something the aliens didn't: adaptability and endurance. All 5 reached the meeting point just before the deadline. A small shelter pod awaited them. They eyed each other, strangers but united by fate. The shelter was too small for all. Conflict loomed. "We share," Nell said firmly. "We survive by working together." The others nodded. They agreed to take turns inside and keep watch. Inside they found basic food, water, and bedding. At night they told stories and shared what they'd learned. Each brought skills: history, law, mechanics, medicine, and people skills. Suddenly their wristbands lit up with a new challenge: retrieve 5 tokens from a dangerous canyon filled with carnivorous plants. Failure meant elimination. They prepared with tools made from sticks and stones. Trey tested the plants, learning they closed when touched. Their plan was to trigger the plants with sticks, then grab the tokens while the plants were closed. The plan worked, until Kira was caught by one plant's teeth. Nell treated her burns and infection with plant poultices. They agreed the final token would require teamwork. Trey and Jamil distracted the plants while Renata and Nell snuck in and grabbed the last token. Me was changing. So were the humans. The fire's glow warmed their faces, casting dancing shadows around the small camp. The humans sat close, feeling the heat and hearing the crackle of flames. It was the first time they felt safe since waking on the strange planet. Kira, still nursing her burnt leg, smiled for the first time in days. "I never thought I'd be so happy to see fire," she said softly. Jamil was busy examining a piece of sharp bone they had found near the carcass of a dead creature. "We can make better tools from this," he said. "Stronger than stone, easier to shape." Trey nodded, thinking of spear tips he had read about in history books. "We need weapons. Not just to hunt, but to defend ourselves." Renata studied the flickering flames and then looked at the others. "We've survived so far, but the challenges will get harder. We have to work as one. Our strength is our minds and our teamwork." Nell, tending to Kira's wounds, agreed. "I've treated injuries like this before. But out here, every wound can be deadly if we don't act fast." Their wristbands lit up again, the cold blue text glowing in the dark. Challenge 2: hunt and kill an alpha predator within 3 days. Failure will result in the elimination of 2 contestants. The room fell silent. Trey's voice was steady but grim. "They want us to fight. Not just survive but kill. To prove we can dominate." Jamil cracked his knuckles. "I say we show them what humans can do." Renata's eyes narrowed. "We must be smart, not reckless. We plan carefully or we die." The next morning they set out together, moving silently through the alien forest. They used hand signals they had quickly invented to communicate without sound. The air was heavy, filled with strange scents and noises. Every rustle made their hearts jump. After hours of tracking, they found signs of the predator, a 6-legged beast larger than anything they'd seen before. Its footprints were deep in the soft ground, and patches of fur caught on thorny bushes. Trey suggested setting traps. Jamil helped build a pit covered with branches and leaves. Renata and Nell collected sharp stones to create spears and knives. Kira kept watch, telling stories to calm the group's nerves and keep morale high. On the 3rd day the predator appeared. It moved with terrifying power, muscles rippling under its thick, armored skin. It charged at the camp, eyes fixed on Kira, who couldn't run fast with her injured leg. Without hesitation, the humans sprang into action. Jamil and Trey flanked the beast, thrusting their spears at its sides. Renata hurled stones, aiming for its eyes. Nell grabbed a burning branch and waved it, the flames making the creature hesitate. The beast roared and swiped with its massive claws, knocking Trey to the ground. He rolled quickly, avoiding the crushing blow. Jamil plunged his spear deep into the creature's neck. It staggered, then collapsed with a final, shuddering kick. They stood panting, covered in dirt and sweat. The firelight flickered across their faces, showing a mix of fear and triumph. "We did it," Kira whispered. "We killed an alien monster." Jamil smiled, proud. "We survived. We're not prey." That night they butchered the beast. Trey taught them how to scrape the hide clean, just like Native American hunters had done. They made tools from bones and teeth, improving their weapons and building stronger shelter walls. The humans grew stronger, faster, and more confident each day. Their bodies adapted to the harsh environment. Their muscles became lean and tough. Their minds sharpened with every challenge. But they were not alone. One morning, strange pods landed near their camp. Alien creatures called the Guthrie emerged. They looked like giant insects with hard shells and many limbs. They carried hidden weapons and scanners. The humans watched warily. The Guthrie spoke in clicking sounds translated by the wristbands. "This land belongs to us. Leave now." Trey stepped forward. "We were here first. This camp is ours." The Guthrie leader twitched antennae in annoyance. "Rules allow competition. We claim your territory. Surrender or face consequences." That night, the Guthrie tried to raid the camp. But the humans were ready. They had set traps, hidden pits, snare ropes, and alarms made from shells. The Guthrie were caught and stunned. Their technology should have detected the traps, but it did not. Jamil laughed quietly. "Their scanners only see technology. Our traps are made from nature. They don't know how to fight like this anymore." The humans took supplies from the trapped aliens and even captured some devices. Jamil and Trey studied the gadgets, trying to understand how they worked. "We can use this," Jamil said excitedly. Renata nodded. "They want us to fight each other. But we stand together. We survive together." Days passed. The humans improved their camp with new tools and weapons made from bones, stones, and captured technology. They communicated silently, moving like a single unit. But then Kira discovered something shocking. Hidden functions in their wristbands showed that elimination meant death. The aliens had been killing losing contestants for entertainment. "We're not just playing a game," Kira whispered, showing the others. "They've been murdering for ratings." The group's mood changed. Fear became fierce determination. They no longer played to survive, they played to end the game. One day, Jamil found a broken drone camera in the mud. He and Trey took it apart. "It sends signals to a relay station nearby," Jamil said. "If we find it, maybe we can talk to the real masters of this game." Their chance came soon. A new challenge appeared, Final Challenge. Reach the extraction point while evading hunter teams. Success means freedom. Failure means elimination of all. The map showed a distant mountain range. Jamil studied it. High ground. Perfect for a relay station. They set out at dawn, carrying their injured friend Jamil on a stretcher. They moved quietly, avoiding tracks and dangers. But suddenly hunters attacked. A net caught Jamil. He tumbled down a rocky slope, leg broken badly. Nell worked quickly to splint the injury. "Leave me," Jamil said weakly. "Go on." "No," Nell said firmly. "No one gets left behind." Trey realized the final test was clear. Survive alone or fight together. They chose unity. Kira used her wristband to broadcast a challenge to the hunters. "Come see what humans really are." They prepared traps and weapons. They fought with guerrilla tactics, using the land and their minds. The hunters were stunned. They had never faced such fierce, clever opponents. Mach 2, the alien producer watching, grew angry. The humans had broken every rule. They were not just surviving, they were fighting to end the game. The humans captured one hunter alive. Under questioning, he revealed the location of the production facility hidden in the mountains. Trey spoke quietly. "We're not going to the extraction point. We're going to the source." The final battle for freedom was about to begin. The mountain loomed ahead like a giant beast, dark and silent under the strange lavender sky. The humans moved cautiously, carrying Jamil on a rough stretcher made from branches and vines. His leg was set, but infection was spreading. Nell worked tirelessly, cleaning wounds and applying herbal poultices she had learned from the planet's plants. Renata led the group with quiet determination. She had studied maps and star charts during captivity, and now she guided them toward the hidden facility. "We have to be careful," she warned. "This place is not just a game arena. It's a prison, a factory of cruelty." The entrance was cleverly disguised as part of the Rocky Mountain face. Trey used a stolen scanner to detect faint energy signatures behind the stone. Kira slipped through a narrow air vent, the smallest of the group. She moved like a shadow, avoiding patrols and cameras. Inside, the corridors were cold and clinical, filled with humming machines and blinking lights. Renata and Kira reached the central broadcast hub. Screens displayed feeds from all over the game planet, contestants struggling, dying, fighting. Renata's eyes widened in horror. They've been running this for centuries. Thousands of beings killed for sport and ratings. Kira's voice shook as she activated the emergency broadcast. "To all sentient beings, you have been lied to. This is genocide for entertainment." She streamed unedited footage from their wristbands to all 17 star systems where the game aired. Alarms blared instantly. Security forces scrambled, rushing toward the broadcast center. Renata and Kira hid, knowing they had seconds before capture. Meanwhile, Trey, Nell, and a weak Jamil moved toward the medical bay. They needed real treatment beyond makeshift splints and poultices. The hospital was sterile but well-equipped, with devices that could heal injuries quickly. Suddenly, guards appeared. Trey grabbed a metal rod and fought fiercely. Nell supported Jamil as they made a desperate dash toward the hangar bay. They overpowered some guards but were trapped by others. The doors slid open to reveal transport ships waiting for launch. It was their only chance. Kira and Renata burst into the hangar, breathless and chased by security. "We have to get out of here," Renata shouted. Trey and Nell helped Jamil into one of the ships. The controls were alien, but Jamil, with his mechanical skill, quickly figured out the basics. "Hold on," he said weakly. "I can fly this." With a roar, the ship lifted off as alarms echoed behind them. Security fired, but the ship shot upward, breaking through the planet's atmosphere and into the vast silence of space. Renata entered navigation data stolen from the broadcast center. Setting course for Earth. The humans sat back, battered but alive. Kira's voice came over the ship's comms. "We've sent a message to every system. The truth is out." Trey looked out the window at the stars streaking by. "We didn't just survive. We changed everything." Back on Earth, 6 months later, the 5 humans stood before the United Nations General Assembly. Behind them, massive screens displayed images of the alien ship now under international control. Trey spoke to the crowd, his voice steady and proud. "This technology has advanced our science by 100 years. But more importantly, it proves we are not alone." Renata stepped forward. "The ship's database contains records of hundreds of species, some friendly, some dangerous. We must be prepared." Nell added, "Our strength lies not just in technology but in our adaptability and cooperation." Jamil, still healing, gestured to the screens. "We have detected ships approaching our solar system. These species saw what 5 ordinary humans could do." Kira, the public face of First Contact, smiled. "We weren't special. We were chosen because we were expendable. But we proved that humans working together can achieve the impossible." The assembly erupted in questions and applause. The 5 former strangers exchanged glances. They had entered the alien game as prey. Now they were humanity's champions, symbols of courage and hope. Across 17 star systems, other species watched. The soft-skinned mammals of Earth had shown they were not just entertainment. They were equals. A species that could rewrite the rules. The game was over. A new era was just beginning. The stars outside the ship stretched like ribbons of light, endless and cold. Inside, the 5 humans sat together, their bodies tired but minds racing. The journey back to Earth was long, filled with silence and whispered plans. They had escaped the alien game, but the fight was far from over. Jamil's leg throbbed painfully. Nell did what she could with the limited medical supplies they had, but infection was stubborn. "We'll need Earth's doctors to fix this properly," she said softly. Jamil nodded, refusing to show weakness. Renata reviewed the data they had taken from the alien ship. "The Kren conglomerate runs this entire operation. They traffic in lives and suffering for profit and ratings." Her voice was cold with anger. "We must warn Earth and the wider galaxy." Kira, always the communicator, practiced her speech. "The galaxy needs to know the truth. Not just about the game but about us, humans. We survived because we never gave up. Because we fight together. Trey sat back thinking. Our story is more than survival. It's a lesson. We were underestimated. Treated as primitive and expendable. But we proved what makes us strong. Days later, the ship entered Earth's atmosphere. The massive alien vessel glowed with energy as it slowed and hovered over the United Nations headquarters. Military and scientific teams waited anxiously below. The five were greeted as heroes, but also as symbols of a new threat and opportunity. Earth was no longer alone, and it had enemies watching. At the UN, Trey spoke with passion. We face a universe that sees us as weak. But our strength lies in adaptability, cooperation, and courage. We must learn quickly but never lose what makes us human. Renata stepped forward. We have evidence of other species, some friendly, some hostile. We need alliances and defenses. We must prepare for first contact, and beyond. Jamil added, we have technology far beyond anything on Earth. But we must use it wisely. Our survival depends on balance. Kira smiled, addressing the crowd and cameras. The world watched our fight on that alien planet. They saw ordinary people become extraordinary. That is the true human story. The council agreed to form a new interstellar defense and diplomacy group. The five were appointed ambassadors and advisors. They traveled the world, sharing their story, inspiring hope and caution. But even as they rebuilt, threats loomed. The Kren conglomerate's influence reached far, and other alien powers watched Earth closely. One night, Trey stood on a rooftop looking at the stars. Kira joined him. Do you think they'll come back? We're ready, he said quietly. We survived their game. We changed the rules. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Nell, Renata, and Jamil joined them. Together, they looked up. Five ordinary humans who had become the guardians of Earth's future. The universe had taken notice. The months that followed felt like a whirlwind. Earth was changing fast. Governments, scientists, and citizens all watched the skies with new eyes. The five humans who had survived the alien game became symbols of hope, courage, and unity. Trey, Renata, Jamil, Kira, and Nell worked tirelessly. They helped build defenses, taught survival skills, and forged alliances with friendly alien species. Their story inspired millions, reminding humanity that even in the darkest moments, they could rise stronger together. But the threat was real. The Kren conglomerate, humiliated by their failure, sent spies and saboteurs to Earth. Unknown enemies lurked in the shadows, waiting for a chance to strike. The five knew peace would not come easily. One evening, as the sun set in fiery colors, the group gathered in a secure room beneath the United Nations. A warning signal flashed on their screens. Multiple unidentified ships were approaching Earth's orbit. Trey's face grew serious. They're coming faster than we expected. Renata checked the data. Kren ships. Likely a retaliatory strike. Jamil prepared their weapons and gear. We've trained for this. We won't back down. Kira pulled up communication channels. I'm broadcasting a message. We want peace, but we're ready to defend our home. Nell quietly tended to the group's medical needs. Stay focused. Stay alive. The alien ships entered orbit, massive and menacing. Earth's defenses activated, but the real battle would be fought by minds, hearts, and wills. The five led the charge, coordinating with Earth's forces and their new alien allies. The fight was brutal and intense. Explosions lit the sky as ships clashed in fierce combat. But humanity held firm. After days of struggle, the attackers retreated. The message was clear. Earth was no longer a target to be crushed but a force to be respected. In the quiet after the storm, Trey looked at his friends. We started as strangers, thrown into a cruel game. Now we are a family, guardians of Earth and the future. Renata smiled, eyes bright with hope. We proved the impossible is possible. Jamil raised a toast of water from a simple cup. To survival. To humanity. Kira streamed the moment live to millions. This is our story. Ordinary people, extraordinary will. Nell nodded. And this is only the beginning. Far beyond the stars, across 17 worlds, other species watched and whispered. The humans of Earth had shown a power no one expected. Not just tools or weapons but the fire inside their hearts. They were no longer players in someone else's game. They had become the game changers.